Welcome to the GenXplainers podcast, The Perfect Song. And today we are again looking at an artist who's being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the 2023 class. And the group is The Spinners, and the song is I'll Be Around. And this song actually was a song we were going to cover. Regardless of them being inducted into the Hall of Fame, we were going to be covering this. And this was brought to us courtesy of Mike. So, Mike, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about this song?
Well, sure. Sorry. So anyway, this song was released in 1972. It was originally released as a B-side for Spinner single, How Could I Let You Get Away? But the radio DJs opted for I'll Be Around, and it became this unexpected hit because it was not originally on one of their albums. It was just a B-side. And it was the first ever of their songs to sell over 1 million copies. And it reached #1 on the U.S. charts and #3 on the pop charts. I forget what that's called. The
U.S. pop chart.
Yeah, the U.S. pop chart. Thank you. Yeah. And then in 1999, it was listed at number 96 on Rolling Stone's list of the 500 greatest songs of all time. The group themselves grew up in Michigan and formed in Michigan. They were high school buddies. And I'm sure they would have done a podcast.
If the technology were there.
If the technology were there.
Welcome to the Spinners podcast.
Yeah, if the technology had been there and if they had lacked the talent that we lack.
Yes, exactly.
Whenever you want me, I'll be there. Whenever you need me, I'll be there. I'll be around.
But yeah, it was just like this runaway hit that nobody expected to happen because they didn't release it officially as a single. And suddenly the DJs heard it on the B-side and just started playing it constantly. And it blew up and became their biggest hit they ever had. The second being Could It Be I'm Falling in Love? So that's really the basic facts of it. The rest is sort of like what we're going to talk about now.
Yeah. Well, let me just say, I'll just tell sort of my experience with the song. I had heard the song. I mean, it was a big song. It was on the radio a lot back in the day. So I'm sure that's the first time I ever heard it. And, you know, it's one of those songs that if I'm playing my randomized music streaming app and it comes on, I'm like, oh, yeah, this song. Yeah, I like this, you know, and I enjoy it. And yeah, they had a couple other, you mentioned the other hit, Could It Be I'm Falling in Love? Let's see, there's one called Then Came You, which I can't hear in my head right now. But Rubber Band Man was a big one. I know that.
Rubber Band Man, yeah. Mm-hmm. In fact, that was in Guardians of the Galaxies. They used it.
Oh, that's right. That's right, they did.
Got speed to moving, that rubber band off the ground. He lifted it well high at the sky, y'all. And then he all get with it, y'all. Hey, y'all, prepare yourself for the rubber band man.
But yeah, the Spinners, I kind of fairly or not lump them into sort of this, like, you know, Motown group. I mean, they were with Motown in the 60s, but then they went onto another label. I believe it was Atlantic. But anyway, yeah, they got out of the Motown game. They got out of Motown and they had their own different label. But yeah, I kind of lumped them in with, you know, Temptations or sort of these, you know,
yeah,
group of guys wearing the same clothes and doing dance moves and singing the harmonies, which was definitely a subgenre, you know, of R&B soul. But yeah, Spinner stuff, I like it a lot. I don't know too much past the singles, but yeah.
Well, the first time I heard it was actually on Soul Train, when they appeared on that. But I do think that when I first heard it, I was so young I didn't really get the song probably. Um, but and I'm sure I didn't see it when it first aired. I saw it in a lot of reruns of Soul Train because I think that it appeared in 1972, and I wasn't old enough to really have seen it live. But I remember it vividly, like watching them perform. So it must have been like in some reruns later on, probably on Channel 44 or something like that. Anyway, so that's the first I remember hearing it, and of course, tons and tons of radio to play over the years. The song never really stopped being played. I don't think you still hear it once in a while at like different venues. You hear it like when you're on an elevator sometimes. And so there's a lot of places that I think I even heard it in Safeway when I was grocery shopping one time. So it is something that over the years, and I do think it's funny that it's a breakup song. And the writer of the lyrics last name is Hurt, Philip Hurt.
Clearly he did.
Yeah. So I find his aptly named.
Yeah. Do you guys know offhand, has this ever been used in a commercial? Can we talk about the sort of ubiquity of a song? I can almost imagine it being in some kind of commercial.
If there's only a way that I could check the internet.
If only there were a way to find information at the snap of our fingers. I feel like what's a good product for I'll Be Around? Something that like lasts a long time, like toilet paper roll. See,
it doesn't come
tissue.
Up.
It's like in our special double ply mega roll. Whenever you want me, I'll be there. See,
insurance. It should be for insurance.
Yeah, insurance.
Yeah, everything should be insurance, and everything should be boring.
All right, Madison Avenue, get on it.
Oh wait, a Chevrolet ad.
Oh, Chevrolet. See,
classic car theme spot set to the portion of the Spinners' "I'll Be Around."
Whenever you need me, I'll be there. I'll be around. Cars you can depend on. Cars that last. Chevy will be there.
All these classic songs have been bought out by the conglomcos.
Well, let's face it, most of them were bought out in the first place.
That's true.
This particular song has been covered by a lot of different people too. I mean, including Michael McDonald, Hall & Oates, Joan Osborne, the Afghan Wigs.
Whenever you want me, I'll be there. Whenever you need me, I'll be around.
So, I mean, it is one of those songs that is a standard in the R&B realm, but a lot of people in other genres really love the song too, and they use it for their music or do covers of it. Because Afghan Wigs obviously is not R&B.
Right.
So I'll be perfectly honest. I could not possibly remember the first time I heard it. It's one of those songs that is just it was just part of the world as I grew up. I recognized it. Like when it was on the list of songs, I can't even tell you the last time I heard it, but when I saw it on the list of songs that we were going to do, it already was playing in my head. You know, it's just, the music is so good and the production and you know, I personally don't think that, how should I put this? Music is what can make a song great. Mm-hmm. More so than lyrics. I'll just say it that way. Lyrics can too, but it's the music that I feel grabs me first and gets something, connects inside. Because honestly, as many times as I've heard this song and I knew that I liked this song, it was listening to it for this podcast. I started paying attention to the words a little bit more. Because I was like, oh, I'll be around. Like, oh, this guy loves this lady and he's going to be around. And then I'm listening to it like, oh, they're breaking up, and he's gonna bow out gracefully, but he's gonna be around. And it's not like in a necessarily creepy way, but it's not necessarily not creepy. Like it's like I will always be there for you.
It's not every breath you take creepy.
No, no.
But it's in the same ballpark. It's adjacent.
Yeah. And it's a kind of an adolescent response. I mean, to a relationship that's over. Like, I'll always be there for you. Well, will you really? Like, are you singing this song like a year and a half from now? Probably not. And I will mention, just because we're talking about the lyrics, is as I was listening to it, I was like, oh, let me make sure I understand what they're saying. And I had I was listening to it on a different streaming service than you were, but the lyrics that came up towards the end were, I'll be standing in a coffin, I'll be there. I'll be ripping it up, I'll be there. Which I thought, wow, okay, this song just like at the very end goes deep dark. And then, of course, I looked it up investigated it a little bit further, and those are not the lines. That's what the AI thought the lines were. It's not, I'll be standing in a coffin. It's, I'll be a skipping and a jumping.
In a coffin.
In a coffin.
In a coffin. Skipping and jumping in a coffin. So the way that the production kind of almost enhances, like there's this little organ and it comes in when he says like, you made your choice. You made your choice. And then later, like, there's always a chance. There's always a
chance. The elements, all the elements that go into the song are really, they're kind of subtle and mixed together, but they really all work together to make the song very solid. I think I said a little earlier before we were recording that they threw in every 70s R&B thing in here to great effect, to awesome effect. The guitar riff is, very sort of not enigmatic. What's the word? It's famous. And then the guitar riff gets mimicked in the way he sings it later. And the vocals are great. And then the congas and the bass kind of hold it all together in the back. And another part I love is like there's that instrumental break in the middle where the strings D, 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 and then they sort of melds into the horns doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Very smooth, very 70s, and very awesome.
No, it's beautiful.
A lot of that I think is attributed to Tom Bell, who produced the song and the album, and he worked with Stylistics, the Delphonics, and a lot of those groups that did the same kind of production in their songs and their albums. And I think that could be credited for a lot of what that sound for this song in particular. So it's pretty amazing that what he did with a lot of that stuff and brought a lot of elevated sounds to the music of that time.
Yeah.
So, the other thing I have is just a tidbit that the Spinners, they named themselves after a hubcap on a Crown Victoria. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Is that that's where they got their name of their the band, the group.
Yeah.
But I would have assumed it was Spinning Records, but I would have been wrong.
Or how they dance. Maybe they spin when they do their dance moves.
Yeah, it says they named themselves after a hubcap on Smith's 1951 Crown Victoria. So. And Smith being Bobby Smith, the lead vocalist. So,
right, he sang on this one. We hope you're enjoying this GenXplainers podcast. Remember to find us and follow us on social media. Give us a like, a follow, or support us on Patreon. And we'd much appreciate a 5-star rating on the podcast platform of your choice. Now, let's get back to the show. All right. Well, let's get to it. A perfect song. Well, Mike, you brought it to us. What do you think?
I definitely 100% say yes on this one because I think the longevity of it, the universality of it, everything about it, production wise, all that stuff. For me, especially, I even used to have it as my ringtone on my phone. So, so it is something that it's a song that's lived with me for a very, very long time. So,
all right. How about you, Al?
Mine will be slightly qualified, which is that I'm going to say it's perfect as long as when it's playing in my head, it's the version that says "I'll be standing in a coffin." But all jokes aside, I'm more of a rubber band man, Spinners guy. That's like more my jam than this song. I guess sort of not stylistically. I don't know. I don't know. That's just more
vibe wise.
Vibe wise. Thank you. But I cannot deny how well crafted this song is, and so I will say yes.
Okay. Yeah, this is this interesting situation where, like I said, all the elements are just sort of perfect 70s elements to make this song that is sort of like a perfect 70s R&B track. And part of me, my first reaction is, yeah, it's perfect, but almost it's sort of perfect being that sort of template or that example makes it not stand out somehow. And I think uniqueness is it's important to me in the enjoyment of songs, I think. But even with that sort of, not really a caveat, but that sort of idea, like, oh, it's pretty straightforward, but it's perfect straightforward. I mean, it's the exact thing. It is the prime perfect example of the thing of that kind of song, but also it is a perfect song after all that mumbo jumbo. Yes.
What the hell?
Matt is padding out the episode.
It needs to be longer, man. Soon we'll be like dressing up and doing lip syncing to the songs just to get the run times up.
That'll be for our Patreon subscribers.
Yeah, we'll do a live stream. We have 2 of them now. 2.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I don't know if they'd care if I gave their names, but one's our friend Chris. I won't give last names. And one's our friend Lachlan.
Oh.
Yeah, welcome, guys. We're really appreciative of the subscription. And, there's bonus stuff on that Patreon. I'm going to plug it right now. Those 2 members we have now, they get to listen to a whole little extra video, watch a whole extra video of B-52's content that I didn't include for anyone else, where we rank our top songs. So, boom, get over there, I guess.
Yeah, as an added incentive for the Patreon, most of the stuff that you hear that's special on the Patreon doesn't even involve us. So if you don't like us, it's even better.
Yeah. I just sort of turn on the TV and point a camera at it. It's pretty awesome. All right. Well, thank you all for listening. Thank you guys again for a good episode. The Spinners, class of 2023 of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and congratulations to them.
Absolutely.
Enjoy their songs, including I'll Be Around, and we will talk to you next time. Bye.
Aloha.
I'll be around.
You will. Thank you for listening to this GenXplainers podcast. Follow us on Instagram and friend us on Facebook. Just search for GenXplainers and find us on Patreon, where you can support the channel and gain access to extended cuts of the podcast as well as exclusive bonus content. See you next time.